Hello, everyone. We are here to talk to you about something rather exciting. I'm pretty sure you all know what it is because we've already got people picking in and mentioning said show. But this is all about the Space 1999 Moonbase Alpha Technical Operations Manual. It's the catchiest title you're ever going to hear, but it does exactly what it says on the tin. And we're going to just give you some extra content today, answer your questions, because it's pretty soon that the book is launching. We have been absolutely inundated with lovely comments and excitement and your general enthusiasm, which we've all been really, really grateful for. Do let us know where you're tuning in from. I can see, oh, look, someone we know there. Jack Noel in the US. Ekmar is in Germany. Oh, we better just hide that from a little rude comment there. Let us know where in the world you are. We'd love to know. I've seen Duncan from Chessington. There's Mike from Germany. Anyway, while you're all saying hello, Chris and AC, why don't you introduce yourselves and tell everyone your involvement in this amazing project, please?
Well, my name is Chris Thompson. I am a writer, animator, illustrator, artist, all-round man, and I've written all but 2 of the chapters of the Space 1999 Technical Operations Manual.
And I'm Andrew Clements, and I don't have as many fancy titles as Chris has. I'm the co-writer, and I have written the other 2 chapters of the Moonbase Alpha Technical Operations Manual.
So I would just say, because these guys are far too modest, that they have done an absolutely astonishing job putting this thing together. You're going to get additional praise from David Hirsch shortly. David Hirsch, who was one of the original authors, or the original author of the 1970 Space 1999 Technical Notebook. But you may be saying, why am I here? What am I watching? What is this thing that we are talking about? Well, it's the Space 1999 Technical Manual. Here it is. Here's the lovely cover. It's a 272-page hardback, a complete guide to life and technology on Moonbase Alpha, and it's all based on that fantastic Starlog Moonbase technical notebook from the 70s. Many of you may own that. Again, do let us know if you had this original document or if you still have it. But this is a massively expanded version, and we will also be telling you later on about the extremely limited edition, special edition, of which there are only 311 worldwide, but more on that in a little bit. In terms of who we are, you've met our authors here. Otherwise involved in the team, we have got 2 fantastic scientists, Dr. David Parker from the European Space Agency, who got fascinated with space watching Doppelganger, and Phil Plait, known to some of you as the Bad Astronomer on Twitter. You can follow him at Bad Astronomer. And they've both written their own science-based sections. But as I've already mentioned, David Hirsch, here he is back in the 70s with a rather fancy eagle. David was responsible for that original Starlog technical notebook, and he's been heavily involved from the start of this. So coming to you live from an eagle hangar on Moonbase Alpha, because thankfully it's not breakaway day yet, so the moon is still within reach. Here's David to give you some background.
Wow, I can't believe it's been 44 years, literally to the day, that we first wrote the official Alpha Moonbase technical notebook for Starlog magazine. We started over the summer of 77 to put this book out by Christmas 77. And Jeff Mandel and Anthony Fredrickson and I worked feverishly to try and put everything together. They literally, these 2 guys who have gone on to stellar careers as scenic and graphic artists in Hollywood on Star Trek, the movies and the TV shows, as well as other productions. They had to go off to college, and I had to pull in a college friend of mine, Dave McConnell, to help finish out a lot of drawings where we were constantly poring over 16 millimeter prints to find details on a lot of sets and props to make everything look really good. ITC in New York was gracious to allow me to stumble through a lot of their warehouse to look for any information they had. They had a lot of pre-production stuff that they used at the trade shows, so I thank Bob Mandel for that. But we had always hoped to do supplements to the book. So that's why we had done a loose leaf binding, and we limited ourselves to what we could do within that time frame. But unfortunately, the initial sales on the book were such that our publishers, Starlog, Kerry O'Quinn, and Norman Jacobs, were always a little cautious about wanting to do the supplements. They would come to me periodically and say, okay, if we do a supplement this year, what would you do? And I had a lot of ideas planned out. I had Stephen Corbett, who was a friend of Martin Bauer, who had blueprinted all his spaceships, who was going to do a lot of the craft for the book, and we reuse, of course, Jeff's Eagle blueprint from Starlog #7. But unfortunately, none of that happened. And it's taken 44 years now for there to finally be a supplement, as it were. But the new book is absolutely stunning. What I've seen so far that Chris Thompson and Andrew Clements have done has been absolutely brilliant. The design work, the presentation is just really first class stuff we could not have done all those years ago with the technology that was available. They were kind enough to bring in Paxton Young, who I had suggested to Jamie early on when the project was first proposed to me, who had done these incredible blueprints in Moonbase Alpha, which of course he had the luxury of years and years of studying the show and the sets and everything to work things out that we could never have done back then within our time frame. So you will find that this book is going to be just about everything that we had originally hoped to present to you, but now with the ability to do much more research than we could have ever done.
So there you go. High praise indeed from David Hirsch.
We said it a bit last time, but like David's been really, really helpful, and really, really supportive, and an absolute goldmine of resources when making this book. So it's really nice to hear him say that.
Yeah, he really is full of praise, and I would say, David is generally a man of few words. Quite often when we're talking interviews and stuff, sparing with praise. So the fact that he's lavished it upon you there is pretty awesome. So last week we showed you a few spreads from the book, and we can just give you a quick hint of those. But then Chris and Andrew have picked a few more to show you too. So just to run through the ones that you may have seen last week very, very briefly. Chris, do you just want to just give us sort of headlines on each of these?
Yeah, so this is part of the History of Alpha section, and we go through what Alpha sort of from first inception basically to the final phase 4 version of it, with the main mission being built on the central column. And then next up, we've got the nuclear generating area. This is kind of the main presentations we're going to have for a lot of the sets. You'll see a new one in a few minutes. Just some of the cutaway, sort of problem solving that I've been doing, just with transitioning the pads from the cross to the square and getting into the eagle hangers, the gravity towers, the nuclear waste disposal areas. So a nice overview of the set for disposal area 2.
Do we cover how nuclear waste should be handled to avoid disastrous consequences?
Oh, I think it's pretty safe. I think that entire section will give you the perfect idea of how to handle nuclear waste at all times and should be absolutely adhered to. The command module, this particular set that melted my brain last time.
Yeah, there's plenty of eagles throughout.
Yeah, various eagle bits and pieces. And then the section on Voyager 1.
So plenty of stuff, including all the gizmos and goodies. Now, a lot of people have asked about the scope of the content. So what better way to show you that than the contents page?
Everyone loves a good contents page. And shout out to, this is Paxton Young's sort of layout for a Moonbase Alpha. Well, it's showed in a bit more detail in the book, but it was too good not to use, a bit larger here. And yeah, this gives you a pretty good idea about what's in it. And yeah, we'll sort of break it down into all the various little sections, and it's again once presented really nicely by Amazing 15, who've come up with this very cool shorthand based on a lot of the graphics elements and signs in the universe.
Yeah, all been designed to feel like it's very in-universe. Now, we had some questions from a couple of Space 1999 fans saying, do you cover the toilets on Alpha? So, Chris and AC, do you want to answer that now?
There is quite a funny story behind this one. Is that like initially I had a copy of like the original technical notebook, and as part of the pack that David Hirsch had sent me out was sort of like an expanded version. And I just assumed it was like a bunch of extra bits and pieces that was going to be like it was the stuff that they were like aiming to send out. But turns out that was actually a version that Keith or Paxton had amended back in his youth and added a whole pile of extra content to. So I ended up taking his bathroom design from that version and I extrapolated it. Like I changed the bath out for a shower, but like it's kind of the same design. So shout out to Paxton for that design, and it's quite nice to render it like as part of the set here. And everyone else will recognize Anton Zorof's apartment or living quarters from Force of Life with its like little split room. Apologies, airplane just flying over. Its little split room sort of design, and we cover 3 different types of living quarters in here, but it was quite nice just to get this one in.
Does it lovely. And I should add that Chris has built every one of these sets in CG from scratch to present these sort of consistent cutaway style interiors, which are present throughout the book.
So can you show me the other page on the this particular one for this one? So this is like kind of some of the other, all the other supplementary craft. We start with a little piece of art, kind of like this one, and a little bit on the craft. This kind of comes back into some of the problem solving that you sort of come up against when trying to like expand the universe of Space 1999. And that comes into why are there these tanks, like specifically laser tanks. I've got one here. This one is my favorite one. You can just about see it over the screen there. And this particular one, I rationalized as an explorer vehicle. It's made out of the same materials that the Ego cockpit is, hence the overall like similarity with it. And it was designed to explore like high intensity environments like Venus and things. So can you just pop that image back up? Thank you, Jamie. So here it is on the surface of Venus, because I wanted to visit other planets and sort of the run up to kind of like the breakaway event. And also like instead of a laser in that particular illustration, you've got like a sensor dish. You've got the original sort of screen grabs. You've got a solution to get it to where it needs to go with the Eagle carry cage. And then Jamie, you can just give me the other page on that. We've got it as it appeared in the episode. You've got an interior design, which I've put together kind of based on what like I think it would look like. As with most things, you kind of have to fudge it to sort of make it workable because there's not a whole lot of internal space in there. And obviously you've got the blueprints, which everyone loves a good blueprint.
Yeah, can't go wrong with a good blueprint. Now, we all discussed early on whether this should just be a kind of pre-breakaway thing or whether we should update it as post-breakaway addendums. So there are other bits and pieces throughout, including reports of later encounters. So AC, do you want to tell us about those sections?
Yeah, well, as you said there, Jamie, we did discuss initially whether it was going to be pre or post breakaway, and then I think we decided fairly early on that there was just too much great stuff in the series to ignore by setting it all completely before breakaway. So we came up with the idea of having an addendum that it's a technical manual that's been updated as time goes on. And really what we were doing was going through and picking some of the best episodes, some of our favorite episodes, and some that the fans have always been fond of, going through those and putting together sort of little, not really episode guides as such, but more from the point of view of the characters in universe, the events that have happened during those episodes. And rather than try to rationalize it from a fan perspective, I try to keep it as much as possible as if these are characters who are experiencing it, and they're living through it. They don't necessarily know exactly what's happening. They're just reporting on it as it happens, or in some cases after the fact.
Yep.
And that's really where we get to with the alien encounters section.
Yeah, so you've got this red section at the back of the book with various reports like this one from Professor Bergman, covering the major encounters that you'll be familiar with from the series. So that it really does cover the whole thing. We're not just limiting ourselves to the pre-breakaway event.
AC's also contributed obviously a nice little section on character profiles, and also a little bit on Operation Exodus.
Excellent.
Do you want to tell us a bit about that, AC?
Well, Operation Exodus, it's something that, it does get mentioned a few times throughout the series, but we never really got to find out exactly what it entailed. So I thought, well, here's an opportunity. It is a technical manual. An emergency evacuation procedure for Alpha would definitely be covered in that kind of manual. So yeah, let's take the bits that we know from Operation Exodus from the series, put them together into some sort of timeline, and then flesh out the missing bits in between. And with some of Chris's snazzy graphics and a bit of CG magic, we've got some lovely pieces on that as well.
Like, without spoiling it, it's like we end the book on Operation Exodus, and it's sort of quite a nice little element to sort of finish it on, as like we start the book on very much where they came from. There's a lot of elements of like what's happened during the show, and then there's just a little bit at the end about where we're going. I like to think of it as so.
It's a nice rounded piece. So there's a question there. Have we got any alien craft in the book?
So that was kind of a decision. Whenever you sort of pitch a book and like 272 pages sounds like a lot, and then you have to like condense that to all the human stuff, there's not actually much in the way of alien craft itself sort of covered, mainly because from the point of view of the Alphans, like a lot of it's usually blown up by the time they get any opportunity to examine it. Like Gwent, the ships from Voyager 1, the Last Enemy sort of spaceships, things like that. Like we do incorporate. There's a lot in the book about how we incorporate alien technology, such as like I've written a bit about the laser batteries being sort of taken from Gwent and things like that. So we don't cover the alien designs as such, but we do cover how they are like adapted, or how the Alphans adapt technology and things like that into their own design.
Very much from an Alphan point of view. Joe McNally, will there be internal models of Moonbase Alpha? Yes.
We've shown the nuclear generating section, and we've shown the. Hey, Jamie, can you put up the contents page again?
I can. Here's the contents page.
Yeah, everything in section 2, Joe, is illustrated. So it's pretty much mostly shows from the series, rooms from the series, but there's one which is the let's see, the boarding tubes and customs is directly from Keith Wilson design, and I've also designed a dining room. So hopefully people will quite like it, but everything else is very much from the show itself.
All the essential stuff is in there. Just briefly going back to the science side, we got in Dr. David Park from ESA and Phil Plate to give us some real world science. Phil's doing a breakaway event report, I believe, and David does a piece on the Eagle propulsion systems.
It was such a relief to be able to hand off the Eagle propulsion to an actual scientist.
Some real scientists. David Hirsch was also very pleased that we got some scientists in. I've got another little clip from the Battery of Eagles. Here's David talking about the science.
It's an absolute brilliant presentation. I'm thrilled that we have these two wonderful scientific advisors writing about how to ground the show in reality, which is something that production designer Keith Wilson and special effects wizard Brian Johnson all tried to do with their designs. I've spoken to Chris Penfold over the last few years and learned how he and his writing partners, Johnny Byrne, Eddie DiLorenzo and such, had all strove to really make the show as realistic as possible. And I think the fact that you could see a lot of reality in this book is a testament to all this hard work that everyone tried to do. I mean, a lot of it's always been complained about the premise of the show being unbelievable, but as we all know, Gerry Anderson had his back against the wall when Abe Mandel would not greenlight the show unless he could assure him that the show never would take place on Earth. So he said, well, I'll blow up Earth, which Abe Mandel said, well, that's too scary. Blow up the moon instead. And there they had it. The moon was going to be isolated in outer space, and there was our show. So now all our writers and the designers had to say, let's try and make this look good. They didn't want cardboard sets. And we see this in these wonderful designs. And the show was absolutely, believable to a lot of people. They even had Werner von Braun of NASA write them a letter about how he was impressed on how realistic the Moonbase looked, and would help inspire people to want to go further than the current Apollo program. And I think some people have been inspired by this.
Yeah, well, it's a thread that you two have kept, I think, really closely to, trying to keep it fitting with a real world kind of real explanation. And you've done a fantastic job of it. I can see lots of
videos on nuclear waste disposal and the like.
all that crucial stuff is in there. So lots of people asking how they're going to get it and all that kind of thing. Obvious, we have to answer you. So the book in its standard and special edition goes live for pre-order on Monday, which is breakaway day, because we couldn't possibly do it any other time. So 5 p.m. UK time, 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific at shop.gerryanderson.com. That is the only place where you're guaranteed to get it for now, until it goes on general release in December is when it will be in general release. So you pre-order from Monday, and for the first week that these are on sale, we are chucking in some extra goodies. So here is the standard edition with the extra goodies. Chris, just tell us what the extra goodies are.
So we have the patch that was featured on the moon buggy, spacesuit, and just various other vehicles. I've kind of like rationalized that as an Earth flag patch. And my friend Catherine O'Kane from Belfast has put together this lovely sort of like Conquer the Moon type sort of promotional poster for us, which I am very, very pleased with. She's been an artist I've wanted to work with for ages, and I think she did a great job. So you get that too.
It is a very cool one. Yeah. So for the first week, it's on pre-order. If you order it from the Gerry Anderson Store, whether you order the standard edition or the special one, you get the Conquer the Moon poster and the mission patch, but only for the first week. So up until 11:59 p.m. on the 19th. After that, it just goes back to the standard version with the book alone or the special edition. The standard edition is $34.99, and that special edition with all the goodies is going to be $149.99 for that first week. But if there are any left after the first week, it'll go up to its proper price, which is $199. Now, I realize that is not for everyone. It's a very special piece. There are only 311. In there, you've got a letter from the desk of Commissioner Simmons wishing you well, which is numbered and signed, which acts as your certificate of authenticity. We've got a travel tube map, ID card, electromagnetic radiation detector that really works, and crucially, your anti-radiation pills, which I've got a little bottle here. This is not real medication. They're actually extra strong mints. So it's up to you whether you can see them or not, but they're not going to help you.
I remember having to go back and rewrite that on the label.
Yeah. We've had to make that very clear. It's not medication. So if you are involved in a breakaway event, then don't take those mints. Seek real medical advice. So there you go. There's all the information running along the bottom. Monday, 5 p.m. UK, 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. From shop.gerryanderson.com, you get those extras for the first week. Standard edition is $34.99. Special, it starts at $149 and then increases to $199 if there are any left. But I don't expect there will be any left after the first week. I hope you managed to get them. I've had this question a couple of times. I don't have an answer. Why was September the 13th picked as a date? Is there an answer, gents, that you know of?
I don't know. Like something about the main titles, I think.
Yeah, there's a date in there, and it's pretty cool. No, but
Yes.
I mean, in the series, 13th of September just sounds cool, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a great date.
Well, it's
No,
unlucky for some.
after you, AC?
It's unlucky for some.
Yeah, it just sounds like a cool date. 13th is unlucky. 30 September sounds cool, so I guess that's why it's there. I've just got a little final word from David Hirsch, who wanted to just pass on his final best wishes. So here he is once more for a final time.
So we have, I think you're going to find this is going to be a book that you're going to be very proud to own. I'm certainly going to be proud to have been involved with this. I thank Jamie Anderson for approaching me about wanting to be involved with this and allowing them to take what we had done all those years ago and open up this whole universe now to all the fans who, over the years, who have watched the show so often now with home video. You're not going to be able to fool them. You have to show that we care about the show, and I think Chris and Andrew have done a spectacular job in really making everything look great. So I'm proud to have been associated with this book, and I think you're going to be proud to own it.
Well, what kind words from David, and I absolutely second that 1,000 times over, because you guys have just done an absolutely amazing job. So we want to make sure that if you do come and get it from the Gerry Anderson store, that you get those extras. So don't forget, from the 13th to the 19th, if you get the standard edition or the special edition, we'll chuck in this Conquer the Moon poster and the mission patch as extras. They'll just be automatically added. And after the first week, they won't be available. We're not going to do the poster again. We're not going to reissue the patch. That is it. And for the special 311 units only, I'm almost certain they're going to go in the first week. So if you do want one, please kind of be ready at 5 p.m. UK time or your equivalent wherever you are. Shop.gerryanderson.com. If we've got any last few questions.
I did see something about a Joe 90 manual down there.
Yeah, I don't know why anybody would mention that. That's very strange.
I definitely think we should do Joe 90. I bet you'd love that, Jamie. Absolutely, yeah.
It would be an absolute thrill. Did you have any discoveries about Moonbase Alpha's uniforms being awkward to wear?
Like from my watch of the series, I didn't detect any Picard maneuvers. You know, the
pull down. No, they're very well designed for space, perfect for life on the Moonbase. There's some very nice people saying some very, very lovely things. Joe and everyone else who's congratulated the guys on the design, really, really appreciate it. They have done a great job, and I think we are all extremely proud of this book. I can't wait for you to own it. Now, the delivery date into the UK, we're expecting them to arrive mid-late November. So I actually got the date wrong on the previous one. Apologies for that. We're getting them printed. They're litho printed. They're not digital. So the quality of the print is the best it can possibly be. And that just takes a little bit longer. But as we go, and once we've released this, the book for pre-order, we'll send you more information and more spreads, and you get to see more content. I think there's quite a few people looking forward to Monday Floyd. We certainly are. Lots of people saying thank you. Any other books in the pipeline? We have talked about this very briefly, gents. Not doing Joe 90, obviously. Because,
it's not really a huge spoiler, I guess, because like a few people have already picked it up from the LPL spread. I have somewhat tied in the UFO series to Space 1999 in this. And that was kind of important, because how else do you explain why they have 9 iterations of Space Fighter and an entire base full of guns and tanks? But so I would love at some point to see a UFO on the just sitting beside this on the shelf. But also, I do love Stingray, and I would love to do a Wasp manual, but we'll see.
Okay. Yeah, it seems like Shadow and Wasp are pretty high on people's request lists. Actually, there's quite a few people saying UFO. I saw Branko in there jump in and say yay for UFO. I know he's a big UFO
naturally
fan.
We will do the Secret Service manual.
Yeah, of course. Eventually we'll get to Secret Service, and then maybe
it's going to be a pocket-sized one, right?
Third scale. Jack asks us favorite parts. Well, mine's not really a favorite part, but can I just say Chris's splash pages, these beautiful bits of art that he's done are, yeah, just stunning. They almost deserve to be stuck in an art book in their own right. Chris and AC, what are your favorite parts?
AC, after you.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Yeah, I have to say that Chris's artwork is just fantastic. You could just stare at it for hours. As Jamie says, those splash pages are pretty amazing. I don't want to actually give any spoilers, but there are a couple of art pieces in particular that may or may not tie in with what Chris was talking about a moment ago. And yeah, I wish that I had a poster of one of them, but it just, everything about it really, the layout as well is just so visually appealing, and I think people are really going to enjoy looking at it.
For me, it's that supplementary craft page or supplementary craft section, and it is because like I really, really love the universe that Space 1999 is set in, and it was always more than just the moon. Because like they established, there's lots of like little nuggets in there about space stations over Venus and like Mars missions and like exploratory missions to like Neptune and things like that, and being able to take each one of those craft and like stick them in a new location was really, really nice, and just show off the universe in general. But like also the sections that I didn't specifically work on, like I really like the look of how we've laid out the character bios. Marcus went in and tried to make everything look kind of like the name tags from series 2, and like it just looked really, really nice, like a really nice in-world document.
So lots to look forward to, and no spoilers. David asking, is this on the US and so there is only one Gerry Anderson store. It's an international one, shop.gerryanderson.com. Doesn't matter where it is, but it's the time, I guess, is key for you. 5 p.m. UK, 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. I keep trying to say Pacific. But yeah, lots more love for a potential UFO one. Chris and AC, you may have made a rod for your own backs there. So yeah, there's so much for you guys to enjoy. We really appreciate all the support and all the positivity. And stand by for Breakaway Day Monday. And we hope you manage to get the special, if that's the version you want. Bearing in mind there's only 311. But whatever you pre-order next week, you'll get the free poster and the patch as a thank you from us for supporting the project. Chris and AC, anything you'd like to round off with, or should we leave these lovely people to their evenings?
Just get used to having the moon in the sky, I guess. Yeah, thanks again for your lovely comments, and I really hope you enjoyed the book when it lands.
And I'll just echo those statements. The comments have been really, really nice, and it's great to see that everyone out there is appreciating it. And let's face it, it's because of the fans who are so passionately enthusiastic about this series. That's the reason that we're still talking about it. It was a talented group of people that put it together originally. And, you know, just now generations of fans have enjoyed it for so long. And it's, you know, this is why we're doing it. We're doing it for the fans.
Absolutely. Couldn't have said it better. AC, Chris, thank you very much. Stellar work. And thank you all for watching. We hope you managed to get yourself a technical manual on Monday. Have a great evening. Bye.